Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of World of Tanks. I'm your host, TedTokez, and we got some good matches this time. This first one, we're starting off pushing up to the front line as normal. As you can see, we take a somewhat of a different kind of approach as far as map placement goes, and we run into some enemies here. You can see I'm using this narrow gap between the building and the entrance ramp. As I'm getting flanked, I'm also using that. You want to make sure the angles of trajectory can't really just, get straight shot, easy shots on you. I'm backing off here so that I can keep my frontal armor to the majority of my enemies. After finishing that enemy, I pull forward, which may seem to be a mistake. However, it was unknown to myself that I was going to have that destroyer or whoever it was coming around the back side and missiling me. So, without knowing, where they were exactly, I was still just ready to get ambushed and dogpiled because they knew my location from whenever I was having the 1v1 with their teammate. But I didn't really know any of their locations except for the one that was underneath that entrance ramp that was probably going to push me to help his teammate and or get the points that were left over after. Sorry. Here we are in the next match though. Looks like I'm a little late to the front lines. Sorry, I probably picked my controller up late. And I was probably just like editing or something. I don't know. I multitask a bit sometimes. So, I was probably just late to the game. Picked the controller up late that time. Because usually I'm on the front lines. There's not a lot of times that they're beating me to the actual match where the battle is going to take place. As you can see, we pushed forward. I got there with about half of my health bar after that initial encounter. But after the first exchange, we managed to take another tank out before I lose my health, so shout out to teamwork because without the teammates supporting barrels there, I wouldn't survive that one potentially. Here I am trying to hold my angle against a couple tanks who have Overwatch on me as well as the close quarters combat. And I make a bold move here to push out and get this one tank that's over here. I whiff my shot and I take two shots as countered. They countered me. I knew they would do it. I knew that. I remember thinking they'd do it before I tried it. I remember thinking they're gonna do it. I remember them doing it after when I'm watching it now. And but that's the way it goes sometimes. If I'd have thrown a smoke, I could have, countered their counter. But that's the way it goes. It's you make one move at a time, and whichever team makes the better moves, that's the team that's gonna win. I've said it before. Whichever team helps each other more faster is gonna be the team that wins every time. But sometimes you can be helping your team and it not be enough help to out-help the enemies that were helping their team. So you guys, you know what I mean? You're going to have to understand that there's a point in participation where you'll get a participation trophy, but you didn't even really participate. So they have to understand that if they want to keep playing that Overwatch tactic, most of their frontline tanks are gonna die because the front line reaches a point in the map usually where they're not just taking on the enemy's front line, they're also taking on the Overwatch. When our Overwatch is barely even supporting with shots at the enemy's front line. So, until they find shots that they can, like, get for free or whatever the case, sit back and wait until they can finally line up a
Wow.
true vision. It doesn't matter to me.
Congratulations to the
They're
rest of you. They just
wasting
sat over on the other
everybody's
side of the
time back
map.
there.
Good game.
Not a single match is saved from Overwatch. Most of the matches that are put in the position for Overwatch to clutch up is because Overwatch created a situation for Overwatch to have to clutch up. That's the reality of it. See, when Frontlines does bad, Overwatch having a good game can still change the game. If Frontline is having a good game and Overwatch is having a bad game, guess what? If the Frontline fails, you guys fail. That's most cases. I don't have to argue it. But there you can see, I kind of lost this match. I drove out there as the front line guinea pig for them to get their free points as Overwatch. They're not really shooting much. I'm probably doing more damage. I was rotating them pretty well until I crashed into that carcass right there, though. And as you can see, like I was saying, they put themselves in that situation. They killed 2/3 of our team for them to, have to clutch up now. There is no, oh, they had a good game the whole game and gave us a better game. No. That's not how that works for them because they're Overwatch. But, so, I don't want to dig too deep into it because it's a story long as time's been telling it, man. Mankind, they just don't learn. They think they're hot shit, and we're really not even doing anything. So it was kind of a fake podium, if you ask me. I didn't do anything special, but I got second place. That tells me that nobody in the team actively did anything. They all just kind of, piss puddled around, and then tried to have a pissing contest. Like the piss that they puddled up was even their piss. But here we are on the front line, pretty much playing the game for them again. However, this time, because of the position that they choose to sit in, they're kind of playing with us. However, I'm not going to consider how many ever tanks that is sitting in one square over there on the corner of a mountain, giving the entirety of this territory to the enemies. The only thing stopping them from having total domination in that one corner to then shoot at from multiple directions is me, this one Leopard 2A5, trying to stand his ground in the middle of a fucking field with no fucking cover. So yeah, I'm a little upset sometimes because they think that they're good because they out-survive players like me. No, you get players like me killed, and you're not even good enough to be as good as we are when you got us killed. So, the statistics are there right in front of your faces daily. I play this game at least for an hour a day to get a couple fucking matches. You guys suck. I'm sorry. It is what it is. If you wanted to be better at the game, you would try to be better at the game. You wouldn't be trying to make yourself by default better at the game. When that's not skill. That's not skill. That's a scam. That's a con artist. You see, there's a difference between someone, like I said, someone who gets 10,000 damage as Overwatch, not even being shot at, probably not even an exclamation mark, let alone a sixth sense light bulb lighting up while they collect these damages. Why? Because there's people in front of them taking the attention of the enemies, making an actual impact in the game that the enemies have to counter, or else guess what? You guys don't get to do anything back there because they did nothing up front. But that's that match. We got our victory. The half a team that was left for the second half of the fight was able to clean up. We got middle of the board, so not too important, but honestly, it's not surprising that I was as important as I was, but as not
Tokes, your
important
mic
as
is
I was
extremely
because of
low.
how little I did, but what I did made such a difference in the game that I can understand why I was rated as half up the board. Alright, here's a pretty crappy match. It's a good match, but it's crappy. Here's the thing, alright, I kind of let that one shot happen, right? And then I bounce my next, I bounce my
Leave her alone,
start
Maximus.
looking
Don't
in to
bother
make them
her.
count. And here's the thing. Now, at this point, right here is where I would say the game went unnecessarily long. Alright? Yeah, I missed another shot, big whoop. But the reality
I'm getting
is,
fucked
all
up.
of these tanks in the K line that are up on top of that hill, there's no reason that this tank behind me is still, to this point, just now dying to my bullet. Now that we rotate our barrel back to the
Crack that
main
M1.
enemy front, we try to line up a shot. We look down
Fuck,
the
he cracked
sights
me
and we
too, though.
get one there.
And not somewhere else. That's why I'm saying same thing.
See, I remember this match though. This is a bummer of a match. If the team would have just
Come on, on track.
participated, if you could see, if you look, you can look at the little mini map on the bottom right? So you can see what the enemies are doing that we know of,
Don't leave that
and we
on
can
her
see
either.
what the teammates are doing in real time, right? So whether it's fast forwarded after I die or not, that's irrelevant to the point. The thing is, you can watch the emblems interact with the enemy emblems as the chess match goes on. You see, only one move can be made per frame per second. You feel me? So when you break it down, they're just not trying to participate, right? Because if they were participating, they would have flushed that one side, right? Because we had a good team, we had the numbers. The problem was all the tanks in the middle and sitting back. They just didn't really want to do anything. So by default, the enemy team that was doing as little as they were doing, they were at least doing it together and continuing to progress as they did it. Whether it was advancing their points, advancing their position, we got 5th place with that match, guys. Yeah. But, however, those were those matches for this episode. I appreciate yous. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making the content. I know we got our hits and misses. There's some good ones, some bad ones, some great ones, I think. But if you liked them, man, check some more out, And that's it for this one. If you like this one, though, maybe give it a thumbs up so I know that you guys thought this one was one of the better ones.